Hello all and welcome to my channel, where science, technology, engineering, and math are made easy. Today I'm going to be doing a C tutorial where I show you how to use patterns in C. Without further ado, let us begin. So let's first of all start off with the code setup. Now this setup is used in all C code. It goes like include studio.h integer main and these two curly brackets. So all of this, it's the start and end of every code in C. Now I have a video that explains this much better. The link is in the description. It's called Introduction to C. So I'm going to skip past that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my variables. My variables are going to be integer, row, and column. Now I'm going to enter my rows and columns. So print function, enter the row, scan function, and row. I'm going to bring in my column, print function, enter the column, scan function, and column. Now what this does is it does two things. The print function prints a message in the output. Now the scan function allows you to put a user input. So enters message in output allows user to put input. Now let's introduce for loops to this. For loops work similar to the way they do in Python. It creates a loop, and whenever the condition is met, the output will be printed repeatedly for infinity or whenever it's set to stop. And you're going to see that here. So I'm going to introduce the for loops. So for, I'm going to introduce another variable, integer I equals 1, I is less than or equal to row, and finally I plus plus. Then we have the second for loop and final one for integer j equals 1, j is less than or equal to column, and j plus plus. And then we print our result, and I'm going to make it money. So what does this do? Well, first of all, we create a new variable, integer 1, and integer I. The new variable is integer I, and that I equals 1. And when 1 is less than or equal to row, it adds up. So we introduce a new variable, and we give that variable a value. And when that value is less than or equal to row, you print it until you get that value. So suppose I make my row 4. The variable I is going to keep adding 1 up until it gets 4. And the same thing down here. We introduce the variable j and we set it equal to 1. And when j is less than or equal to column, it adds up. Suppose I say column is 5. J will start at 1 and it will add up until you get 5. And when those conditions are met, you print this. Now it's time to add this. Remember earlier when I said a for loop could be infinite? That pretty much breaks the code and forces you to click out in all tabs because the computer can't just handle an infinite program. This puts limits on it. And finally, whenever you're working with loops, use the return function. So let's see how this works. Enter row, enter column. So let's compare the output to this right here. So the variable I equals 1. And when I is less than or equal to 1, you keep adding. So you start at 1, and you add up until you get 4. So start with 1, 2, 3, 4. And since it has to be less than or equal to a row, it stops. So variable I equals 1. And when 1 is less than or equal to 4, you keep printing. And row is 4. So you start with 1 and you end at 4. And it's the same thing with j. You introduce the variable j, which equals 1. And while j is less than or equal to column, you add 1. Column is 5. So you start with 1 and you keep adding until you get 5. So it's pretty introductory, basic stuff in Python. That's all I have for you today. Please give me some advice and be brutally honest how I can improve my channel, what I can do better, what I can get rid of, what my issues are. Oh, and one more thing. I have a new website called Python Imperium. I don't have a domain name for it yet, but I'm working on that. I have some of my old videos here from a long, long time ago when I started this channel, and I just want you to look at it and tell me what you honestly think of it. And that's all I have for today. Have a good day or good night. Goodbye.